All right, what's up, everybody? My name is Chris Mayer, and you're tuned in to the Bit Show, the Boston Indies talk show and happy hour. Of course, brought to you by Boston Indies. You could follow us, Boston's home for independent games. Sorry, I gotta remember to say that part. You can follow us on Twitter at Boston Indies. Follow our meetup to get notified about this kind of stuff and whatever else is going on. Meetup.com/Boston Game Dev. And you can join us on the Slack channel, hang out, chit chat. We're only doing the show once a week, but in between, you can hang out and talk to all your favorite Boston game devs at slack.bostongamedev.com. We got a great show for you tonight. Will Brierly is here with some exciting tech to show us later. I actually don't have any announcements this week either, so if you have something that's like going on around town or fun game announcement you want to drop in the chat or whatever, please do that, and if you do it in the next 6 seconds, I'll read it. Yeah, I think otherwise we're just gonna get right into it. Let's kick off the show.
Let's go!
Oh God, why is it? Oh God, Will turned off his thing and it messed up all of the. Wait, Will.
Real freaking professionals here.
It's on the other screen, so I can't see. Will.
I don't even know if they can hear.
Is Will here?
I don't know if they can hear Chris.
Fantastic.
Trying to put the fires
They
out.
can hear me. It's all fine.
Oh, I like how it's particularly because it's framing my chest nicely, because that is what I wanted to open talking about.
Is your chest?
Ichiro, both you and Chris appear to have lost your torsos, leaving me the only man
That's fine.
aligned with a torso.
That's totally fine.
Oh,
Of course, now my head is way zoomed in.
There. Now we're good. We're good. All right. Now resume bantering.
Hey everyone.
Hey, it's me and my torso and Ichiro. It's good to be back here. It's been a great week.
It's like
Just carefully guarding my torso to make sure it doesn't disappear like everyone else's.
Oh, that's fine. We don't just need to be floating heads. Futurama taught us that.
Yeah, actually, so one of my earliest memories is my dad reading me a book about I don't know, some hard science fiction. You may even know it. There's a character named Shervanian. Anyways, there was some dude whose head was in a jar, and he was a bad guy, but they needed information from him, and they'd get it by rewarding him by giving him a sense that he was peeing freely. That was the reward to give a floating head. I think it was an Orson Scott Card book.
Orson Scott Card. I'm sorry, that's
80s.
after my time.
80s.
Yeah,
It was an
okay, I
80s
remember
book.
the 80s. Yeah. What are we doing?
Anyways.
We're doing something crazy today. If you all know Will Brierly, he's a mad genius, and I don't use the term lightly. And are we going to be robots?
We're going to go to the land of make-believe. It's going to be like an episode of Mr. Rogers where they leave the set and they go off somewhere much more fantastical and experience things and maybe learn about themselves.
Jesus Christ, I'm not sure I'm ready for that, but let's do it. Or is
No.
this pre-show banter?
First we need to banter, and then we need to show off what our community has been hard at work at all week.
They're talking about insurance on the Slack is what they're doing. This is what Elliot's doing instead of talking to us. Fine, let's do it.
Let's review showboating. That's what we call it.
Showboating. This is when we put Chris, Mayor Extraordinaire, put everything that everybody posts to the hashtag devlog channel into a Google Slides sheet thing. It's currently visible. Well, go for it.
All right. Gavin had a meetup. The first meetup, honestly, I don't actually know what meetup it is. This is the Becker IGDA chapter. Yes. Awesome. I saw this picture, though. It was really cool. He's generously saying it was Bit Show inspired, which is nice. Which all this
Right.
all the stuff you're seeing here on our show, I should say, is Chris Mayer's hard work. So Chris Mayer is inspiring the world to do better and do shiny, fancy things with their they're all on jam jars because they do.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's thematically appropriate. Luigi says lawsuit, so we're gonna. Sorry, Becker, we're gonna have to sue you, Kevin.
Oh right, and you were saying, Chair, that it would be just right for Chris Chung to send a cat in there to knock things
I know
out.
that looks. I mean, aesthetically. Oh shoot, Elliot has just called me out on Slack, so that's fine.
Are you guys jealous? Would you like to be food products? We can probably
A little bit,
make
yeah.
that happen.
What, you saying I'm not tasty?
Moving on.
What's
I
this
think
tasty art here?
this tasty art. So we're trying to figure out how to do PR for a game, which is what I was complaining about in the pre-show. And I was just thinking, like, if we were to take all of our art and turn it into an animation, and I think that music videos that include a game's art plus some interesting music, not necessarily the music that you're hearing or not hearing here, is a really interesting way to go. Because it worked for League of Legends. No.
You're talking about like KDA and like
Yeah, thank you.
Virtual K-pop group?
Yeah. So like my equivalent of the virtual K-pop group is a bunch of diorama monsters doing their thing. Obviously this is a proof of concept, but wouldn't it be interesting to market our sort of like Dark Crystal, Harry Potter, young adults themed monster game using music, and then everybody's suddenly like, oh my god, I really like your game, I'm gonna give you $1 million.
I would love like indie music videos to be a thing.
Let's do it. Let's just make it happen. If you're a musician whose name is John in the Slack, then you should just make music videos. Yep.
Dan's, yeah.
No, please.
I haven't actually seen this video yet.
You're seeing it for the first time. Dan's up to something cool every single freaking
Yeah,
week.
I love how productive Dan is.
Yeah, in his off hours.
Got like a day job.
Like, what is he, like, quarantining or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been talking about this. If I'm remembering correctly, he's been talking about this puzzle game city builder rhythm thing. I think
right.
it was like 2 years ago. He came over to my house and pulled out this demo at 4 a.m. It was like the party went long.
Was he invited?
Yes, absolutely. It was my birthday years ago, and Dan was there. And I remember that was like that how we closed out the night at like 4 a.m. He pulled out his laptop in the kitchen, and we were going over this idea or something like that. Because the man's got a burning passion to make cool puzzle games. So
4 a.m. is the time I get up nowadays, so good on you. All right, Lauren, I love this thing. I am making a game about being a car in a race. All you have to do is look at the video, and it looks, this is really good. I think that's all there needs to be.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you haven't seen that? It's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great.
like,
I feel simultaneously guilty for not looking at things earlier, but also the sheer joy I'm experiencing right now with these legs come out of this car is authentic.
Yeah. It's kind of late, it's in the, it's good.
I'm gonna.
I want to. Can I put an advisory before the next slide? Is that, like, for those of you caught in the California wildfires, this may be a little bit insensitive on the part of the creators.
Yeah, after the joy of this slide here, I regret putting the next and last slide in. But I did want to share, since we don't share that often what we're doing, and Luigi and I do work hard on games. I thought it was just interesting to show. So we had been preparing an update for Kind Words for a while. We had prepared this earlier with this color scheme, and it was due to go out very soon. And then we just looked at Twitter, and we saw all of the exact same color scheme happening in this ecological tragedy.
Ziba, it is as though you exactly took the palette from these.
And it's insane. It was the same. I don't know. It's yeah. So it's one of those. We can't ship this. It was an accident. This is exactly the wrong week to ship a game's update with that color background. So we're pivoting. We're still probably.
What next week, Ziba? Yellow face, or are my people on your dartboard?
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna make any. We're not doing that, but we're doing something. Just wanted to share that. Still working on stuff.
You slider on that update. All right.
All right. That's it for Bit Showboating. Yes.
I believe so. Is it time for us to bring on our guest?
I've got an introduction for our guest.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
This is what my moment to narrate. Except this one was hard. So it is not easy to properly express the incredible breadth of the accomplishments of today's guest. He is a promoter, artist, game and experience creator who has worked with Grammy winners Emmy winners, best-selling authors, and even Ichiro and me. He is a magician, figuratively and literally. And I just learned this from his LinkedIn page. He has a degree in classical guitar, it would seem. So, anyways, hold on to your butts. The infinitely charming Will Brierly is here.
Oh no!
Bang clap.
What's going on with the screen?
Thank you.
Okay, we are now okay. Excellent. So we're going to be talking to Robot. Apparently, hey, thanks all for joining us. We've just got it started. Everything else before this was prologue. I think this is the best show we've ever done.
All right, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully this works. But basically, just talk to it like you have an idea what it's saying, and if you don't, make it up.
We can't hear it.
Oh, it's not on yet. So I'll hopefully it works. We'll see you. And I'll be there in the end. You'll see.
Is the audio going to come through?
Here we go. It's coming. It's coming. Available chat commands are clap, help, dance, leave, score, leaderboard.
Bit show, bit show, bit show, bit show, bit show.
Bit show, bit show, bit show, bit show.
I say the words
Agreed.
bit show 5 times because I am excited to be here.
Yeah.
Ziba, Ichiro, and Chris, I want to thank you all for having me with you this evening. And thanks to everyone watching on the stream. Before we really get into this though, Ziba, I must apologize. My voice is a voice, but it's also a computer and it has a little trouble pronouncing your name. I'm not perfect, my pronunciation is still developing, but it's getting there. Oh wait. Where are they? Hold on.
Okay. We're holding.
I'm not alone in this world.
No.
I might begin to understand. As much as I try. I am a magnet to this world. Today I need something different. We do exist. I would like some company. Let's see who can join us.
We're here with
Welcome, friend.
Thank you.
Hey.
Ichiro.
Hey.
This is worthwhile.
Mm-hmm. Life is worthwhile. You're worthwhile.
Here's what
Life
I'm
is
thinking.
worthwhile. Yeah.
It's nice to travel in pairs, so let's call someone else as well.
Oh.
And of course this is that very person.
I'm worried.
It's
though.
wonderful to see you.
Yeah.
Ziba.
Hey.
At this moment I'm wondering something specific. What are 3 things that you believe in?
Truth, justice, and M&Ms.
This should be fun. Ziba. Oh, it's my friend. I'm sure you've heard this before, but your shadow is like an infinite elephant waiting for snowfall, and I love that about you.
All the time. Thank you for noticing, though. I appreciate that. Means a lot.
You probably hear this a lot, but your existence is not unlike a purple goat at a table for 2, and it's wonderful.
I mean, come on, we hear that all the time.
Yeah, table for 3 or 4, maybe. I don't know about 2.
Let's stretch.
Ichiro.
What's
This
up?
experience
Yep.
is not unlike a
Yep.
dusty bench.
Mm-hmm. It's like when my mother was younger, she grew up during World War II in Japan, and all they had were benches. It was like benches as far as the eye could see.
I'm just
In
thinking out
Hiroshima.
loud. Let's move on. I've always wanted to tell you this: your mental agility is not unlike a blue Rubik's Cube waiting for snowfall, and I love it.
It's a haiku.
That's gonna
Ichiro.
stick with me. Blue Rubik's Cube waiting for snow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting to know you better, with our minds and our hearts. Thank you for this. Let's continue.
This is beautiful.
Ichiro,
Mm-hmm.
your voice is helpful. I need you
Thank
to
you.
tell me a timeless tale.
You know, there's this one time that I was born and I grew up, and currently I am here. And as far as I know, I'm going to extend until infinity, until I maybe transcend.
Don't stop
Right.
telling me it until I ask you to.
Okay, fine.
Maybe someday you'll understand why I ask you this. This tale should be about a humdrum impression.
Isn't that just all of life? You go out, you're humdrum. I kind of feel like I'm channeling Luigi, not to put him on the spot here, but you go out and everything's the same every day. Everybody's wearing masks. Everybody's not wearing masks. Everybody's doing their stuff. I want things to be different.
Okay,
Better.
start your story now.
I did. My story started 45 years ago in Chicago, Illinois, on top of a dusty bench.
Now let's take this story in a slightly different direction. Let's add a new character. I think its name should be Desiree. This is a person who knows their way around soccer.
I don't know, Ziba, do you know it, Desiree?
Okay, back to the story.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's talking about Desiree Fernandez. She was around and she went
obviously.
out back. Obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't know she played
Well,
soccer,
that's good.
No. Yeah.
Now let's come up with the ending to the story. Give it a
The ending
surreal
hasn't
ending.
been written yet.
If this is about Ichiro's mortality and we just make up,
The way you spin a yarn.
And then Ichiro
Thank you,
died,
that
I
was
guess.
wonderful.
I did not. This, like, I take the editor must be. I have words. I'd like to see your
Someday
manager
I hope to
live.
tell a story like that. Thank you,
That's where you fade into the back again, Ichiro.
Ziba. I have a question for you. How
Yeah.
can I learn about hair?
Watch and learn, baby. I did gel up just before the show to make sure it wasn't all entirely down. Are you getting this?
That is
Your
correct.
hair is pretty straight up right now too, actually.
Sometimes I feel the same way. Ichiro,
Yeah.
tell me something you like about that response.
Well, it's true. It's true to life, as all of Ziba's responses are, and it's pithy. 1 and 2, compelling and culturally accurate.
Ichiro,
Yes, sir.
is that how you really feel?
Well, I wouldn't lie to you. I wouldn't lie in front of everybody, and anybody who knows me knows all of that.
That's an interesting response, but is it really how you feel?
Okay, it isn't. It's a facade. Everything I do is a mask. There, you happy?
You crumbled easily, man. That was
I'm a
Absolutely.
2-question drunk.
One word can make a difference. Let's put a spin on it. Ziba. How can I learn about nervous hair?
nervous hair. I feel like you're calling me out for that early one. Is it like you didn't have the confidence to let your hair be? You had to go gel it. You got nervous and you styled yourself up using these
good.
products. And
That's a story
I
as old
think
as
I have a
time.
better idea now. Ichiro,
Yes, sir.
what are your thoughts on that response?
Again, true to life, absolutely authentic, yet culturally appropriate. That's Ziba. Pithy. An artist of
This
modern
makes
days,
sense.
perhaps?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ziba and Ichiro.
Yes.
Sometimes I get self-conscious about talking too much. I'm just going to quietly listen while the two of you have a conversation about a documentary about classes. Ziba and Ichiro, please start that conversation.
I mean, not to make him more self-confident, it was really voyeuristic the way he. So I'm just going to quietly listen.
No, I know. A little
Yeah.
sexual, too, which I find titillating, but also...
We need to deliver classes like sexual conversation about. I mean, I'd feel more comfortable going into
Your
object-oriented
hair.
programming class. If I'm going to sexualize class, the word classes,
Yep.
I'd feel more
I
comfortable.
don't know. Don't you think programming is sort of like an onanistic thing half the time?
I don't know what onanistic means.
I mean, like, it's a it's a masturbatory activity.
Okay. No, well, it's an act of creation, and so is procreation. So yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I find it really appealing. I find a lot of things about life appealing. I like programming, despite the fact that I've distanced myself from it over the past freaking quarter century.
You have. You seem to only have a taste for Python anymore.
It's so good.
Well, that ties in nicely to the future of everything being machine learning and Python and
GPT-2, my friend. This is
I like
I
this.
thought we were
I
on
think
to 3 now.
Please continue this conversation. I really love it.
Thank you.
okay. I would
Like
agree.
when-
Although we just dropped a viewer.
That was just what I needed to hear. Thank you. I like that. That's good, Ziba. I wonder.
Yeah.
I would like your thoughts on this word. Art.
I'm against it in all forms. It doesn't exist, and when it does, it's only to the detriment of society. It's just something we tell ourselves to legitimize not working, and being unproductive.
Fucking BAFTA award-winning asshole.
I'm sorry, I'm a bit confused. Okay,
That's because you're art.
Ichiro,
Yes, sir.
what would you like to add?
What? I didn't catch the noun. I mean, let me just say that I agree with Ziba, and in fact, the art that we've done together and the art that he and Luigi have done subsequently are pretty much like, were they necessary? Yes, but they hurt as much as they helped.
They hurt
That is
us or our
correct.
audience more.
Ichiro,
Yes, sir.
is that how you really feel?
Why do you keep asking me that? Do I look disingenuous to you?
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
I feel like if it's
Take a
this easy for
second to
robot
think
rip
about your
apart-
response. Really think about it. Well,
Are you asking?
I'm processing
Excuse
this.
What you can't.
I am very confused. Now I wonder if I put this in a slightly different way.
Please do.
Ziba. I would like
Yeah.
your thoughts on this word. Purple. Art.
I will say that purple is sort of my stand-in word for frou-frou art or ephemerality. Whenever I tell someone, or when it comes up like, what should I do? Act purple, or it's one of those things that it doesn't map. It's like when you try to do something that doesn't map, and therefore you must invent. So I think purple art, actually, now that you put it together, it does have a meaning to me that I never really thought of before. It is like art that reaches to fill a cognitive void of what happens when you mix two things you never thought to mix. That's what purple art is.
Wow,
Good.
I like it.
Ichiro.
Yes, sir.
What do you think?
About what Ziba said? Why do you keep asking me what Ziba says? I'm not his lapdog, his puppet. I'm nothing if not contrarian, and therefore I would disagree with him on the basis that he is sometimes right, but most oftentimes that stance is worth pushing against.
I'd say maybe. Excellent. Ichiro,
Yes.
my experience with you is like a deep canyon.
I mean,
Is
I would
that
agree
thought
with
okay?
that. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that thought. I would argue it as being accurate. There's a lot to fill a canyon that comes out of this mouth, my friend, and not all of it is good.
Thanks for understanding.
You're welcome.
Ichiro,
Yes, sir.
you know,
I do.
we are starting to bond.
Mhm. We're friends.
I
We've
think
been
I
friends
trust
for a
you.
while.
Thank you
That's
for
why I
this.
want you.
Let's
You're
continue.
welcome.
Sounds like he was about to ask you for money.
I don't know. Ziba, it's
Maybe
all
we
up to
should do
you.
this. This is a fun mental exercise as we walk. I will recite some words,
Yes.
and I would like you to say the opposite of what the word makes you feel.
Okay, fair enough.
We will do this and I will learn more about you.
I will do this.
Let's
and you will
begin.
learn more about me. Let's begin.
Ancestor.
Progenitors. The opposite. Children.
Coverage.
Make me feel happy. Like loose, sloppy project management.
Dismiss.
Let's accept everything as art.
Rate. Recession.
No, I pass.
Conclusion.
Okay, we can never reach a proper conclusion because we're always questioning.
Tooth.
Nail. That's
I
dirty.
enjoyed your answers. Thank you for playing that with me.
You're welcome.
Ichiro.
Yes.
I love the sound of your voice.
Thank you.
Right now I need you to tell me a story.
Okay. Is there about anything in particular? I could just go on. Like, can I tell you about the time that Ziba and I created our game together? We just sat down at a dining room table and said, hey, let's write a game as though we were 7 years old, both of us, contemporaneously. And then
Right now I need you to tell me a story.
Yeah. I just did.
It wasn't the dining room table, it was the office, because I wouldn't let you into my house because I didn't want you to know that we had fleas.
Oh, rats.
They came with the house. We don't even have a pet that can sustain fleas. They just came with the house.
Right now
That's
I need you
charming.
to tell me a story.
Me or Ziba?
As you tell
I
it,
guess
let
it's-
your mind run free and don't stop until I ask you to.
I think it's
I'll
your
tell
turn,
you
Ziba.
why later. This
Once
tale
upon
should
a
be
time-
about a graceful
about a
outcome.
Outcome.
graceful outcome. Oh yeah. Well, once upon a time, there was a robot who interviewed me so strangely and seemingly at random, but it was actually very precise questions. And at the end of his interview, he very gracefully whispered 3 words that caused both Ichiro and I to disintegrate through his expert detection of our ultimate weaknesses. He played us
All
against
right, let's
each other.
begin. Now let's
He
take
just
the
begin.
story in a slightly different direction. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I need to introduce a new character to the story. Its name is
Oh, uh-oh.
Jeanine.
Oh.
This person loves sandpaper. Okay, please continue.
Hey, Jeannie. How you doing? A little rough around the edges today?
Now let's come up with the ending to the story. Give it a tragic ending. Oh my.
We were all still hungry afterwards. Nothing. At no point during our lengthy adventure did we eat food.
I would love to wear a sweater made of the
Ellie's
yarns you
Identity
spin.
Crash.
Oh, very, very poetic. You'd be naked.
I can't thank you enough.
You're most welcome.
So this is it. This is what I wanted to bring you to, my buddy Will. He's currently in the process of making the world I live in and a bunch of other things. I figured I would find him so all of you can have a conversation.
Will, it's good to see you.
Whoa,
Hey, thanks for having me.
that is a hell of an exoskeleton you've given yourself there.
I
Did you
think we
make
should
that?
fight.
That's the one that, yeah, it's, you gotta
So,
have
like,
little exoskeletons and
First of all, that was awesome. Thank you.
Yes.
This is what Will does. It's basically this is Will in a nutshell. He does performance art and PR and marketing. And I don't even know. Do you have notes for this show, Ziba, or do we just say
Yeah.
Cronauer speaks?
Well, I wrote down in the questions. I wrote down Will. It was, and then I erased it all. I did write one somewhat serious question was, how much do you bother defining what you do and don't do? It seems like you do so much, and stuff that, as far as I can tell, you do stuff that delights you. But do you have some larger guiding principle as to like, this is what I'm going to do with my time?
Yeah, it's like a mix between like, it's when I'm doing stuff, it's all got to kind of like work together. So say, for example, this piece is connected to a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm working on. So it's like there's elements that I can pull from this that will work into something else. So it's usually got to be something that like kind of grows a bigger idea or piece that I'm working on. But I mean, in the end, it's like you're all just learning stuff. So it's like every time you're going to get that happening to a certain extent. But like, I find it's helpful if it's like I can be make that like the work part of it too, so you're getting paid to do it. So it's like that way you can get, it's still work, but it's still fun, and it's like but there's certain parts that are totally not fun that like it just takes a long time, and it's like just trying to like figure out like there's so many like audio issues with this stuff that it's so tricky. Every platform's different. Like I was just testing this on Google Meet earlier, and there's like different audio things that happen with that compared to Zoom or Whereby, or it's like but yeah, just kind of like the other thing, just making sure it's fun stuff that you're having a good time with. And
you do a bunch of this stuff, like a bunch of your stuff has been picked up by Adult Swim and so forth.
Yeah. So like, there's we have a new show coming out on Adult Swim, hopefully September 21st, and so that's like the engine I made for this is kind of what powers it, and so that'll be hopefully it's we know it's they bought 12 episodes, so we'll be doing that.
That's pretty amazing. Congrats to you, sir. You a dozen episodes of a show sold to Adult Swim. How many of us can say? I mean, I know Ziba can, but how many of the rest of us can say they've done that?
It's funny though. It's like, I mean, I've made a decent amount of stuff for them, but that's never seen the light of day. But I learned so much from it, and it's like, it's fine, and it's cool. Like even this huge project last year that like is totally not ever going to be publicly seen, but it wasn't Adult Swim, it was a different company. But like, sometimes these companies, they're just like, I want you to do a weird thing, and that's, or try something fun with this, and I love that. Like where you're just like, let's figure out what this tech can do, or find a new way to do a thing. And the Adult Swim show is like, it's a mix between like a live performed animated show, but it's also like it's actually about like marketing and PR and stuff too. So it's kind of like a neat mix between those worlds, and that'll be really fun to see how it goes, and see what happens with it. But
it seems like you're finding funding for the arts in interesting corporate corners that I wouldn't have guessed. Do they see it that way, or is it particularly the partners you're working with are ready to be artsy?
Yeah, I think like the folks, usually when they bring me in on something and they know it's like, even with like a PR thing, they know it's like going to be probably not just like a straight up like press release type thing, and or if it is, it'll have some sort of fun thing to it. But like, I think just businesses in general, like people working at, like I had a wonderful conversation with like a high up person at Staples corporate, and he was like this, he's like, I've been at Staples forever, and then he just like, you might not know this about me, but like I love Nine Inch Nails, and I've seen them about 20 times, and they're my favorite band. And I think like people are in these positions now that are like, they like doing fun, they grew up with Adult Swim, and they or with I don't know, Liquid Television and stuff like that. So it's kind of like,
and wait, come on, let's name some, like yeah. Oh, so Lantana Dan asked, can you name the show yet, or is it secret?
It's called Needle Movers. So it's about moving the needle. So it's not about selling needles or anything, but it's I did have a diabetic cat, and so, and I learned about, I guess there's like an underground diabetes market of diabetes products, but that's not what our show's about. So
wait,
not yet. And
how do we get the diabetic cats there? How they're, because you got to poke them?
Yeah. Because it was like a lot. We had to do that every day.
Yeah, I had my sister had a diabetic cat, and I had to watch it a few times. I remember the first time I was just so squeamish about sticking, like being
so
a relatively big creature and taking this small thing and jabbing a needle in it. Just seemed like, what a jerk I am.
Totally. And it's like,
you're trying to make it not die, so really.
Maybe they have like a similar feeling like when I take like an asthma inhaler or something. I'm just like, I'll if I had to like inject something for it, I would. I don't like. I mean, I don't care about getting shots, but like, I wouldn't go out of my way for it.
Will actually goes in, and every time I've seen him, he's been
doing shots.
Doing shots. I feel I would be remiss. Like, so there are a bunch of indies watching the stream, and I think Will is one of the most inventive PR folks. If you were to, especially for, if you're doing sodas or if you're doing something, on an indie budget, can you talk about how we should be thinking laterally about PR and marketing?
Yeah, I mean, I think like really trying to make sure you're looking in other areas outside of just games. So I mean, I saw the race car game with the feet. Like, maybe there's a closed down go-kart track that would let you do a socially distant, live action like LARPing race car game or something where your feet are running in a car or something. Or doing these things that are just like outside of the platforms that we're all thinking about. And I think so. Sometimes that's the way to go. Other times, it's like I think it's whatever the right thing is for the game too. It's like if I was marketing like a match 3 game, it would be a very different approach than like a really silly indie thing or something. But I don't know. But I think like just keeping an eye out as much like forms of media, and not just from like now, but like looking into the past. Like there's a lot of like really interesting compilation videos of like commercials from any decade you could think of, or any pieces of history that you can, and like exposing yourself to like every piece of music and video, and because you'll find inspiration from stuff, and not by like copying it, but be like what was the culture like at the time, and there are things that you can like learn from that. And the more that you read and view, kind of, and then also like really go deep into yourself with like writing and creating as much stuff as you can on a regular basis. Because like, I mean, I make a lot of stuff, but like most of it is not worth showing anyone, and a lot of it people will say is not worth showing anything. So that's fine.
Wow. I mean, fair enough, but what a bunch of assholes you hang around with.
But you just never know. It's like, and I think, like, I remember it was like when I remember like slaving away, like working weekends and all this stuff on finishing Soda Drinker and stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna work really, really hard on this and miss all these like beautiful days of summer, so that way like 12-year-old kid can call me racial slurs on my cell phone. So that's like basically it doesn't happen a lot, but like in really like barely, I don't, it's not as much anymore, but like but it's just it's anything, once you get it out there, then it's interesting to see how people respond to it. And really, like it's a joy, even if they like it or they don't like it or anything. I'm just like honored to like be able to have them experience something that I made, and I hope they like it. But it's
well, for those who don't know and have not played Soda Drinker Pro, Will's big breakout video game hit, or maybe one of them, is one in which you basically, I think you walk around drinking sodas, but like Frog Fractions, unless you know the secret, you don't actually get into the real game.
Yeah, and actually, part of Frog Fractions 2 is in Soda Drinker too. Like there's like a piece of the ARG map for Frog Fractions 2 in Soda Drinker. So, but it's cool. Like when Frog Fractions came out, it was like right at the same time as Soda Drinker, and so like Jim and I were in like a lot of the same articles, and we just like became friends through that. And I was like, hey, dude, and I love it. That game is so good. It's like, yeah, it's
I
like,
love how outward looking, how connecting so much of your work is. Particularly, more recent stuff has just been about group stuff. About it's not traditional multiplayer, but it's still about using games as a medium, is connecting people. I think that's awesome. I also, and you're asking all these probing. It's interesting how fast, because this show, and you've been doing this live at a few other places with Meryl Gramble, doing similar stuff. I don't know if is it in your intent to immediately get people to delve deep into their psyches, or is that just what happens when you ask them open-ended questions?
It's a mix of both. So like there's actually a lot of like language techniques that I'm like specifically using in this stuff. There's like therapeutic techniques. There's cold reading, like mentalism techniques in there. There's all kinds of stuff that like. There's also some priming language in there that will like likely lead someone down certain paths and things like that. So it's like ideally, like, so the goal with like Meryl and with this new stuff is like to put people in a situation where they might not be like have never done improv or anything, but like ease them into the comfort of like just going from like you know, like either way is going down the path, you know what I mean? and so it's kind of like taking you down a or like going on a long ride with a couple of friends that you might not know that well, and then after you do it, you know each other.
Of them. Oh, you get to love all of them.
Yeah, exactly. Or you hate him.
Or you hate. No, I feel closer to Ziba, and I know more about his hair now than I ever did. So that's a plus. That's a bonus. Soda. Will, do you have like quick? So craziest story in 140 words or less.
Anything?
Any darn thing.
Let's see. So one time I slept in a bush outside of the... I'll tell you two stories about sleeping in a bush. One time I slept in a bush outside of the WWE offices in Connecticut. And and the other time, and I think I like was wearing shorts and a sweatshirt, and I like zipped it up around my legs. And then the other time, my friend Ed and I, we took the ferry to this is like in high school. Took the ferry to Martha's Vineyard, and we didn't have any money to get back. We're like, we'll figure out where to stay. And we took the last ferry there, and we're like, I don't know, we're on the boat now. We can't do anything. And that time we walked like from one part of the island to the other because we heard P-Funk playing from a large party. We're like, oh, well, wherever George Clinton is, we'll figure this out. And so we followed George
like
Clinton.
You do.
We like tried to hitchhike and stuff, and people like yelled at us. And then we ended up not getting to any party. Couldn't find George Clinton. Slept in a bush, and like somehow found like enough money to get home on the boat. I don't even know what we did, but it was like but we were back. Mom, if you're watching, I'm sorry, but my parents didn't know we did this, and we got back before they. Like I got back like super late and or early in the morning, and they never knew. So maybe they know now, or my mom.
I like how like every story I've ever asked Will about starts. Well, I fell asleep in a bush.
And actually, so the second latest game that came out was for like a horror collection called the Dread X collection. That's based on a true story about when I found an invitation to a party in an abandoned tunnel, and someone pulled a knife on me. and so it's based on this abandoned tunnel in Providence, and you know, I guess that's like an example of like exposing yourself to like a large amount of like weird experiences and stuff. And I don't recommend doing that.
You've told me a separate story about being attacked by a sword. So like I'm sensing a theme that like things that you do happen in 2s and 3s, and
it's like I've been avoiding the dangerous ones these days. It's like because I'm like there was like 2 summers ago, I like almost got jumped like twice, and I'm like, no, I'm not. There's certain things like I'm not going out at like 2 a.m. just walking around anymore. Like that is, I'm too old for that. I have those little 4-year-old sons.
Yeah. You don't want Fred to be fatherless. That would be
exactly.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, Will, you constantly inspire me to reach out and grab whatever the hell's going on in life and twist it around and squeeze juice out of it and taste it and then paint on the wall with it or something. I don't know. You inspire me along strange vectors.
You guys do too. You're awesome. So.
To wrap up the conversation, but the good news is we are going to be going right into happy hour on this.
Happy hour, where you can
whoever
ask
wants
Will
to stick around,
Brierly.
the link will be going out in the Slack.
Yep.
And no guarantees, but some of us will still be hanging around.
Yep. And Chris wanted us to say something, but I forget what it was because.
All right, I can do it.
We can throw then Thank you so much, Will. We're gonna
Thank you.
Oh, thanks for having me. This is wonderful.
pleasure.
It's
We're
so
gonna
nice.
throw it back to Chris.
All right. Thanks,
Oh,
Will.
should I kill my stream, or do you need to switch it?
Nah, we'll just do it here and then.
Cool.
Thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks, Will, for coming on the show and showing us this whole thing. Here, actually, I'm going to press this button. If you clap right now, you'll get a point. Mike Berto going to be on the show next week, who you may have caught on Boston Unity Group. When was that? That was like a month ago, I think. Mike does a lot of really interesting stuff. Most recently released a game working with some like Instagram influencers. Dude's 19, super impressive. Gonna be a great show. Join us next week. Yeah, I don't know. Same bat time, same bat channel. And yeah, join us for the happy hour. All right, well, kill it. Actually, wait. First, say that classic, iconic BitShow closing line. Oh, no, he's gone.
Have a closing line.
No, we don't.
Hey,